You need to have someone who is responsible, accountable, and the buck stops with them when it comes to marketing, period.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome back to the Better Than Rich Show. I'm your host today, Mike Abramowitz, and we are here with John Logan. We are going to be doing a workshop today on the show, real time, live, with his Marketing Machine Playbook. So welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, we sent a bunch of emails kind of promoting this to have as many people have the Marketing Playbook already loaded up for them. And I'll share my screen for anybody that's listening on Apple or Spotify. You might want to go to YouTube for this episode specifically, but on Greenlit Growth, there's a little schedule call thing, but then there's this free marketing playbook, and then it'll email it to you, send it to your inbox. And that is what we want to have pulled up in front of us. So if you have not done that yet, that's where you would like to go and be able to pull that up. But before we go into the actual workshop, John, why don't you give us a little bit of the backstory? How did this come about? You know, you have obviously a lot of success in business with, even one of your clients going from 3 million to 25 million in less than 3 years. So you've had a lot of great success. Well, why don't you give us a little bit of the run through of the backstory here?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for opening the door for that. I got started in marketing about 5 years ago. I went to school for cybersecurity, actually. So it's kind of an interesting transition going from cyber to marketing. And I worked at this small cybersecurity firm, mostly doing compliance for the Space Force supply chain security. One day, the owner of the company, small business, did about 3 million a year, comes up to me and goes, "Hey, John, you're young." "Thanks, buddy. You're old." Where is this conversation going to go? And he's like, "We don't have any marketing. We don't have any social media. You're young. You go figure it out." All right, cool. So go do marketing. Do marketing. Got it. So I did. I did a YouTube University and all the books I could find. That's when I first got introduced to StoryBrand, and I got StoryBrand-certified last year. Big fan of Donald Miller and all of his stuff. And I just really found out. There it is. Have you tried 2.0 yet? 2.0 is out. Okay. So that kind of started my career in marketing. Was just working at the small business. They needed someone to flex and to do some stuff. So I started to, and turns out I was really, really good at it. I really was good at the strategy side and finding out where our gaps were, where our strengths were, and then really capitalizing on that to help them grow. And they went from 3 million plateaued growth, and they were at like 6.5 within the first year of me doing marketing kind of part-time for them. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm good at this. I'm gonna keep going. Around the same time, I started my first company, which was an email security SaaS product spun out of, this idea I had in college, right? Kind of that quintessential SaaS startup story. That ended up not going to market just because of changes in the market. ChatGPT came out, and then an email security provider came out with something very similar to what my idea was. And so I ended up not going anywhere, but we created a lot of strategic partners to help us launch that company. And after I went around and told them like, hey, our board of investors and advisors and the team, we've decided to wrap this up because of, this circumstance. It wasn't our fault. It was just market. And they're like, "Oh, okay, that sucks." And several of them came to me pretty soon afterwards, like, "Hey, John, we know this didn't go anywhere, but we really loved your branding and your marketing that you did for your company. Would you consider helping us with ours?"
Nice.
Okay. So kind of ended up opening this boutique social media management marketing strategy company. And that grew and to the point where I was doing so much content creation that I hated it. Just like, I'm done with this. So brought in a partner. They're starting to run that with that now. They've niched the agency into the small health practice space. So in-home healthcare, chiropractors, dentists, that kind of thing. So I do all that. And then I spun out last year doing marketing strategy consulting. So just helping these businesses, taking the principles and the processes of what I've learned and what I've iterated in my own businesses and my clients' businesses to really just help them grow. And then that culminated into the Marketing Machine.
Nice. And that Marketing Machine, again, listener, if you haven't done so yet, greenlitgrowth.com, click free marketing playbook and pull up yours, because that's where John is going to walk us through. I went through this playbook. It's really, really good. And most of the people that are listening, they're running their home service business. They're $3 to $5 million a year. They're a contractor, and many of them do not know what to do when it comes to marketing. So they just hire another company to do it. So there's two things that I want the listener to take from this. Number one is, if you're doing it yourself, are you doing it correctly? And if you hired someone to do it for you, are they doing it in a way that's optimized? And I think that that's
Right.
what's going to come from this. So, John, would you prefer me sharing my screen or you sharing yours?
Oh, you go ahead and share yours. It's fine.
All right, let's roll. So walk us through this. So how to make your marketing work and drive growth in your bottom line. So welcome and overview. Anything you want to say about the welcome and overview?
Well, let's start at the landing at the homepage first, actually.
Oh, okay.
So the reason the subtitle is how to make your marketing work and drive growth in your bottom line is because most people, and especially in home services, feel like marketing doesn't work. Marketing is a scam. Too many people have been burned by ad agencies and other marketing companies that kind of promise them the world and then deliver nothing. And then they're locked into a contract where they lose a ton of money. So I really wanted to be clear that the purpose of this framework is to just make marketing simple. This is how marketing works. And if you do it this way, it will drive growth in your bottom line because that's the point of marketing. Marketing is supposed to help you grow your business. So we want to make sure that you're doing marketing right. Now, if you see that car image right there, that is the marketing machine. Imagine your marketing runs like a car and you have 5 key components. You have your engine, your steering, your driver, your fuel, and your tires. Your marketing engine is your marketing team and your marketing tools. People ask me, how do you do AI in with this framework and with this whole process? And I say, imagine driving people in home services will appreciate this. Imagine driving a V12, turbo diesel Cummins 4500 versus driving a 1994 V4 Honda Civic. Which one do you think is going to go faster, farther, and perform better?
It sounds like the first one, but I don't really know cars that well.
Okay. You're right. It is the first one because it's going to be more efficient. It's going to go farther. It's going to be stronger. It's going to be more powerful. You can go faster, easier. Marketing with AI needs to be done the same way. You need to be using AI in your marketing engine, which is your marketing team and your marketing tools. So your marketing team needs to know how to use AI. Steering is the second component. Steering is the strategy of your entire operation. And we'll get to this later on in the playbook. You need to have strategy. You need to have direction. You need to know where our endpoint is and what route we're going to take to get there. That's marketing strategy. You need to have some plan, some roadmap, some GPS telling you, okay, how are we going to get to here? That's steering. Your driver is your leadership. Someone has to be responsible for marketing. And I see so often in home service businesses, especially, that the owner gets stuck with doing marketing, or there's some in-house person that's really an admin person that they're like, oh, you go do some social media posts and that's marketing. That's not how this works. You need to have someone who is responsible, accountable, and the buck stops with them when it comes to marketing, period. Maybe that's a business owner. Maybe that's an agency that you're outsourcing. But even if you have an agency, you need to have an in-house person that kind of oversees what they're doing. You need to have a driver. Someone has to be in charge and pushing your marketing forward. And also, because they're holding the steering, they got to make sure that you're executing on the strategy. So your fuel is your funding. Marketing is not a one-time investment. You're not going to spend 5-10 grand on a website and then never have to think about marketing again. You also shouldn't be spending $10,000 a month on ads, most businesses. So you really need to understand how to manage your fuel, manage your marketing budget well. And then you have your tires. The tires are the tactical execution of doing marketing. When that guy way back told me to go do marketing, he was thinking, go do some social media, go make some content, maybe we'll do some ads. He was thinking about the tactical execution of doing marketing, when marketing is actually this really much larger operation that people only see the one piece of. So I wanted to kind of explain that analogy first before we go into that.
Yeah, that's great.
In order to build your marketing machine, it's a 5-step process. So we can go into the welcome and overview here. So when your marketing feels really inconsistent, unclear, like you've always started from scratch, you're not alone. Most business owners are stuck doing random marketing, a new website here, social media push there, a lead magnet that never really worked. That's the opening. And I really want to be clear that marketing does work if we do it right. And that's the purpose of this framework.
So are we? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little antsy. I'm like, let's get to it. Give us I feel like the frame has been laid.
To build this machine, like it says in this intro, you have a simple message that resonates, a homepage that converts, system for capturing and nurturing leads, a strategy, and then a content plan. To build your marketing machine, it is that 5-step process. So that's what the whole framework and this playbook is built around, is that 5-step process.
Got it. Simple message that resonates, a homepage that converts, a system for capturing and nurturing leads, a strategy that aligns with your revenue goals, and a content plan that builds trust and compounds over time. So let's start with clarifying the message, right?
Yes, sir. Clarifying your message is step number one. The reason why is because anything else you do from here on out is going to be built on that message. If your messaging isn't clear, your marketing won't work. We try to make it very simple. And the reason most people are like, messaging, whatever, need to talk about yourself in an effective way as a business. And most businesses make the mistake of talking about themselves. They're saying, oh, we've been in business for 25 years. There's a roofing company here I've been trying to do some consulting with for about 2 years now. And on their homepage, it says, we've put on 10,000 roofs over the last 10 years or 25 years or whatever it is. It's like, okay, that's great. How are you going to put a roof on my house? How are you going to put a roof on my house today because a tree fell through because we had a hurricane? Like my parents had trees fall on their house when we had Hurricane Helene come through last year. How are you going to help me? And businesses need to be very clear in how they do that. So for messaging, I use the StoryBrand framework. The StoryBrand framework was created by Donald Miller. I already referenced it earlier. And it is a 7-part framework that is designed to help you clarify your message and then build your messaging in the formula of stories that people engage with you. And a really way to simplify it is the one-liner formula. So when you talk about your business, you want people to lean in to engage and be like, oh, I need that. You can help me. So one-liner formula is really simple. We help whoever your ideal customer is solve your specific problem, and then they can get some desired result or a specific outcome, right? So for me, it is, oh, I clicked a button. Sorry about that. For me, it is, we help one business owners build a marketing machine so they can grow without the guesswork, or they can grow their bottom line. Mm-hmm. So anyone that is watching this right now, just think about, okay, who do you help? Who is that one specific person? Is it going to be, a grandma whose tree fell on her house? Is it going to be an HOA president, with their lawn, like I'm working with a lawn care company right now, trying to connect with HOA presidents as an HOA president. Who do you help? What problem do they have that you can solve for them so they can experience a desired outcome, so they can experience life better, so you can solve their problem? And what is that going to be? And we can dive deep into the StoryBrand framework, but I think we probably want to keep going.
Yeah, that's great. And I clicked the link here that StoryBrand has, like that AI tool, the StoryBrand AI, so they could start their free trial on it. So might be something to consider checking out and kind of playing around with that. I love that idea. And listener, as far as we help blank do blank so they can blank, or solve blank so they can blank. So we help homeowners. What type of homeowners? What size home? That's an interesting question. And it's like, what are we solving for? Yeah, we're not solving for plumbing. We're not solving for landscape. It's like, what's the problem, right? Like, what is the problem we're solving for? And then what is the benefit of you solving that for them? Is a very simple way. So like for us, Better Than Rich, we help home service business owners in the $3 to $5 million range build a business that doesn't rely on them, so they can make it home before dinner and go on vacation without their cell phone.
Perfect.
As an example, right?
Yep.
So I love that. Very simple, very, very helpful exercise. And it's almost like your elevator pitch, especially if you go to a networking event.
To be. Yep.
You go to a networking event, you want a referral partner. If you're the HVAC guy and you want to partner with the roofer, it's like, how do you tell the roofer who you help and how you help them and why, what's your differentiator? So I think this is really great. Yeah, please.
I was going to say, and you already mentioned the free trial for StoryBrand AI. There's also a YouTube playlist that I built out where I actually review and use the platform. It's in that same section. So if you do use the StoryBrand AI free trial, you can also go to my YouTube channel, and there's a bunch of free videos. I actually got 2 more I got to finish because it added some new features. So I really want to help you maximize your free trial with StoryBrand AI if you choose to do that.
Nice work. Great stuff, John. This is great. We good to move on to step 2?
We're good to move on. Yep. So step 2. So once we have your messaging dialed in, really clarifying, okay, what do you do? Who do you solve it for? How can we really help our ideal clients? Then we got to go to your website. I was talking with a guy Monday, and she was like, I don't need a website. I'm all referrals. People don't need me. And I'm going to say what I said to him. In 2025, you need to have a website, whether you feel like you use it or you get leads from it or not, because you need to have some kind of digital marker, some place online that says, this is who I am, this is what I do, period. Now, a lot of people don't like to do websites because, again, they've been burnt out by agencies that sold them the moon and then didn't deliver. They don't get leads from their website. They don't get leads from their website because their website is formatted terribly. And what they do is not clear for the customer. So that's why we do messaging first. And then we look at optimizing your website. So your website isn't just like, it is a place that you put your, your flag in the sand, but it also is supposed to be a salesperson for you. When someone comes to your website, they should feel like they're having a conversation with their brand. And they also need to really understand very clearly what you do for them and how they engage with you. So the 5-second website test. So open your homepage, ask yourself, can someone understand exactly what I do? And this is without scrolling, without anything. You just open it. You read what you got right there. Can someone understand exactly what I do, exactly who it's for, and what they need to do to work with me? People's attention spans is so small. And I think, social media and then, there's a whole bunch of reasons as to why, but it's so small and we have to operate within those. You got like 3, maybe 5 seconds to communicate who you are, what you do, who you do it for, and how they need to work with you. So we need to make sure our homepage, especially that landing page, when they come to you, is very, very clear.
And just to speak to that, how they got to your website, they might have got to your website because of Google. They might have got to your website from social media. They may have got to your website from a referral. Maybe they got you from some ChatGPT or AI, like AEO is getting more and more relevant now. So however they got to your website is like unknown at this moment in time. However, when they get to your website, we want to make sure, are they speaking to me, right? Are they having a conversation with me? Are they speaking to me? Can they solve the problem that I have? And like, what do I want? What do they want me to do? And sometimes you go to a website, it's learn more. So that means it's an informative website. Sometimes it's get a free quote. Then it's, they want me to request a free estimate. Sometimes it's, here's my free thing, right? They want me to opt in. And I'm sure we're going to get into that. For you listening to right now, it's almost like a doctor. It's not like a one size from my seat. John, you could obviously echo this or push back or disagree, but sometimes it's not a one size fits all of like, this is this 100% global rule for exactly what every website should be. Like, this is the best way to do it, meaning every website should be click here for a free estimate, or this is the best CTA for your business or whatnot. So we could keep rolling through this, but obviously we want to, speak to the audience where they're at. What you found is the best. Or
I'll echo that for sure. I mean, your call to action really needs to be specific to you and then your sales process. And actually, we'll actually dive into that in the next section.
Awesome.
But a quick checklist. What does a high converting homepage include? So a clear headline using your one-liner, a subhead that explains the transformation you provide, a strong call to action in the top right and repeated throughout, a visual that shows success or connection, 3 key benefits or outcomes, a short problem or solution section, a testimonial or some proof point. And then in your footer, you want to include a final call to action or have some other, elements that's kind of the junk drawer. But you need to have it formulated so that it's very clear what you do, what they need to do to work with you. And that call to action that we mentioned needs to be consistent and repeated throughout your entire homepage. I think so often. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, is it assumed that these first 3 that's on this document, the clear headline, the subheadline, and the strong CTA, that's on the first part of the real estate that when someone shows up to the site? And
the first 4 actually too.
The first 4. Okay. So what is an example, a visual that shows success or connection? Is that like client win, or is that showing some sort of work, or is there an example of that?
Yeah. So I know you've heard the saying, a picture speaks 1,000 words, right? So a video speaks 1,000,000. If you can put some kind of video of your customers experiencing what success looks like, that is exactly what you want. On mine, I have a picture of this lady who's happy. She's a marketer because I'm trying to draw a correlation there. In the home services, it would be like, you want to have, let's say, go back to that HVAC example. You want to have someone maybe taking apart and deep cleaning an AC unit, or maybe it's going to be, working with someone like roofers. You want to have, instead of showing you on the roofs, you want to show your salesperson talking to the customer. You want to have some kind of visual that, again, positions your customer as kind of the main character of the story you're telling, and just provide something visual to reaffirm this problem that you solve for them.
It's great.
And then the next part on website is a lot of people miss this with formatting. So there are a bajillion companies that sell templates now, right? They just sell a website template and you kind of just plug and play. They've done a lot of studies on tracking eye movement for customers. And so there's a diagram in there kind of explaining where eye customer movement goes. So when in those 3 to 5 seconds that people land on your website, they're going to start top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. And if they're not interested, they don't see, okay, where am I at? What do they want me to do? What problem do they solve? They leave. They leave. So that's why we want to put very strategic and intentional points or intentional information at each of those points. So top left, you want your name or your logo. Like, hey, this is who we are. This is where you're at. You're in the right place. They're going to scan your menu, get over to the top right, schedule a call. Very clear. We understand, okay, I'm at, for this one, it's Greenlit Growth Strategies, and I'm supposed to schedule a call. They're going to come down to the left. They're going to come across your header. This is an example, like a landing page 5 steps to make your marketing work, like the workbook that you're working through now. And then schedule a call again, right? So it's all in that one spot. And we come over to the right. That's where you get some kind of visual to help kind of really double down on your messaging. When you follow that formatting, that will significantly help communicate to your customers, hey, this is who we are. This is the problem we solve. This is what we want you to do. It's all about captivating and communicating clearly in those first 3 seconds.
Right. And if somebody listening, how do we know what verbiage works best? Whether it's schedule a call, get a free quote or free estimate, click here for a lookbook, click here for a promo or a discount. Like, how might somebody know what is the best CTA that they might want to do for their home service business?
That's a great question. So there is no one size fits all, and you're going to have to do some iterations. So what I do, and we get into this a little bit in the building out your system section, what I do is make the call to action whatever fills the top of your sales funnel. So maybe that's, schedule your free inspection, right? For like a roofing company. If you get people to schedule a free inspection, that's how they enter your sales funnel, make that your call to action. If it's, call for an estimate or something like that, you want it to be, schedule as a call now. You want to find whatever it is that action that the customer needs to take that puts them in the top of your funnel. That's what I recommend making your call to action be. And it needs to be clear. It can't be cute. It can't be cute. It needs to be clear.
Cool. Great. Let's keep moving then. Let's go to the next step. So
step three,
yeah, tell us.
Building your systems. Now, when I work with a lot of customers, this one is kind of where people get tripped up, because like, okay, I understand messaging. I got to talk clearly. Okay, I understand. I got to have a good website. But when I talk about systems, they're like, okay, I mean, I'm going to get them on a call and then that's going to be, I'm either going to get the sale or not. When you have that approach, you miss out on a lot of the ongoing value of the relationship. So when you build out your system, you need to build marketing that works, which is going to consistently and predictably help you grow your business and get recurring revenue, get leads, get more sales from the same person. Because we can all agree that the lifetime value of a customer is way more important than the one-time sale, right? And so that's what your systems are designed to do. So you need to build a marketing system with automations that runs in the background. It captures your leads, it follows up automatically, it builds trust, and then it prompts them using the same call to action on your website. It prompts them to do whatever you need them to do to re-enter that sales process. So without automations and systems, you're gonna, I'm thinking very specifically, there's a guy that I've done some consulting with. He's a pressure washer, and great guy, love him to death, but he does not see the value in nurturing his existing email list. His existing email list is around 1,000 previous customers. He's always chasing new customers, but he's never reselling to his old customers. And it's pressure washing. Like, people need their home pressure washed if they're going to pay for it in the first place, probably every 1 to 3 years. If he nurtured them and just kept touching in, like, hey, we're coming up on pollen season. Here's some things you should think about with protecting your home. Hey, we just had a hurricane come through, or we're about to have a hurricane come through. Here's some things to prepare your home to keep it clean, to keep it safe. Hey, it's been 2 years since you had a pressure washing engagement with us. Would you like us to come out and give you a quote? You can build this whole sales follow-up relationship building system automatically. So that way you're not going to sitting there laboring and chasing new leads all the time. So what you need to build behind the scenes is a CRM, and a CRM should not be your Google Sheets. A lot of people, their CRM is Google Sheets. Don't do that. Use Go High Level, use HubSpot, use some type of software that helps you automate and really simplify your whole operation. So you'd have a CRM that organizes your contacts. You need to have a lead generator. This playbook is one of my lead generators. People who download this end up on a list. You're going to get an email every day for 5 days, kind of expounding on each of these 5 steps. And after that, you're kicked into a nurture sequence where you get an email from me every week for 2 years. And that's automated. I don't have to think about it ever. So you want to build a CRM to organize your contacts, a lead generating tool to attract the right people, build the automated nurture sequences to build trust, to build the relationship. And then you want to build out your workflows, reminders to follow up, and then closing the loop with your customers.
And I want to speak to this. We love Go High Level. Every business we work with gets a Go High Level account with us because it is really robust and it works really well. One of the things that I want to make sure is crystal clear that you click on is that the different people that are inside the CRM don't have the exact same experience, meaning a new prospect that is going on the site is going to have a different experience than your existing customer. So let's say if you have an existing customer that comes to your site and they opt in, and they're already a paying customer, you don't want them to go through that same 5 email sequence that John is saying, because that 5 email sequence for that pre-existing customer is gonna be a weird messaging to them. And they're like, I'm already a customer. Why are you trying to get me to buy the same stuff I already bought from you? So the benefit of a CRM like a Go High Level is it's based on the email address. So if someone opts in a second time, it's going to see it's a duplicate and it's going to jump ship, and it's not going to put them into the automation that John just described. That's why we don't want to do it in like a Google Sheet. You want to have some sort of automation so it avoids human error. John, do you want to speak to that a little bit more as far as like other use cases and expanding upon that one that I just mentioned, or anything you want to echo there?
Sure. I mean, I think you nailed it. You want to make sure that you don't annoy your audience. And if they're going to get the same emails from you over and over and over again, they're going to get kind of pissed off. So you really want to make sure that you do have your customer journey dialed in, like understanding, okay, when they do this, they get this action. If they've done this before, let's say like I had an update done to the playbook where I added some language around AI and like how to use some ChatGPT prompts. With that, I pushed out an email to all of my email lists like, hey, I did an update to my playbook. Here you go, grab it. And I made sure that everyone that has already had the playbook was tagged with like, hey, they have the playbook. If they download it again, there's a condition in there where they're not going to get the same nurture sequence over again. Right. So you're exactly right. You don't want to piss off your audience by being too repetitive or by being obnoxious.
Yeah. Tell us about StoryBrand. I'm not familiar with this one. I know you have it on there. Do you want to speak as to why you recommend StoryBrand at all?
Yes. So StoryBrand is a good lead generator that's a bit different, right? So I have this playbook, which is a pretty typical lead generator. It's a PDF. People are getting more annoyed with PDFs in general. Something like this is really, really good. You mentioned AEO earlier. I actually have an AEO playbook I'm pushing right now as a lead generator. But most people are kind of like about PDFs. So StoryBrand is a really good interactive quiz that you can customize. You can build it out to be whatever you want, essentially, as long as you understand your own processes and everything to give someone a score. Like, hey, like the one I have built out, I have 2 of them, but the one that's running is a marketing strategy scorecard. So based around my marketing strategy framework, people come in, they answer a series of questions, and then they get scored. There's 6 sections in how to create a marketing strategy. They get scored on each one so they can identify, okay, where my strengths and weaknesses at. When they start to fill out that scorecard, I get an email saying, hey, you got a new lead. And I have all their contact information. When they fill out the scorecard, I also get a copy of the report. When they get that report, they're prompted to hop on a call with me. That's a free coaching call. I already know I already understand, okay, here's what their score was, here's their struggles, here's their weaknesses, so that when I hop on the call with them, I can actually walk through them a little more in depth as to what their situation is because I have that information on the front end. That's what I like about StoryBrand.
Yeah, that's cool. And I like the like a wait list example could be a potential one. One of the things that we've been kind of using is a lookbook is our main lead magnet that we recommend. And then we're just having some clients do like a 10% off up to $500 as a promo offer. So like a coupon offer, or like get your free consultation. That's a value of a couple $100 might be an offer. These are just some ideas. And like I'll show you just as an example, Darren has been with us for a couple years now. So his is check out our lookbook. So there's schedule free consultation or check out our lookbook. And then this lookbook, you download it and it's 101 outdoor lighting solutions for your home. So that would be a reason he says he gets a ton of opt-ins. And the benefit on that case is he's bringing that he's referencing the lookbook in a sales process too. So it kind of comes full circle. So if you could have a cool lead magnet that could also come back full circle to your sales process is a really good idea. It's also depends on your industry, because services sometimes, like if I'm calling a plumber or HVAC, it's like my AC is out, my toilet's flooding, it's an emergency. I don't need a freaking lead magnet. I need fast spot response time, speed to lead. But it's like, I'm kind of considering a new garage door. Like that's different, right? So
Right.
so your lead magnet is not going to be the same for every industry, but it is important to have some sort of CTA, some sort of call to action to enroll this prospect into to opt into something so you can nurture to them. I really love this, John. So you can speak to more of that if you'd like.
Yeah. So, I mean, you hit on it pretty well. I would say one thing to clarify is there are two types of call to action. You have your direct call to action, which is the schedule a call now, my toilet's blowing up, help me. Then you have what's called a transitional call to action, like that lookbook you just had. That's what's a transitional call to action, meaning they're not ready. Their toilet isn't blowing up right now, but they're thinking about a maintenance program and they kind of like you. And okay, so then what would be a lead gen, or what would be a valuable asset for them to get from you to build that trust and rapport that's worthy of them giving you your contact information? So you have two calls to action. You have your primary, which is the one that goes in the prime real estate, like we explained earlier, right? That top right and underneath the header and all that. But then you can have that transitional call to action. If you look at my website, we pulled it up earlier. You have the main schedule a call to action, and then you have grab the playbook. The playbook is my transitional call to action. It's not my primary. It's not what I want everyone to do. Yep. So schedule call and then the free marketing playbook. This is a transitional call to action. So it's not the highlighted orange. It's not the main one, but it's still there. So someone's like, oh, marketing that works. I want my marketing to work. And then they read through and they're like, okay, John's helped a bunch of businesses. This is really great. I'm going to get his playbook. But that's what we want to do. Now,
Yeah.
whether they do your primary call to action because my toilet's blowing up or whatever it might be, or they do your transitional call to action, they need to end up in a sales funnel. This is part of the systems piece. And there's a graphic in the playbook explaining at a high level how sales funnels work. Sales funnels work in 3 phases. You're going to capture your lead, you're going to deliver value and nurture them, and then you're going to convert to a sale. So lead capture is at the very top of the funnel, which is ideally that call to action, right? That schedule a call, get the playbook, get your lookbook, whatever that might be. When they take that action, you capture the lead. You have their information. They're now in your funnel. You move them down immediately into the stage 2, where you deliver the value. If you promise them a playbook or a lookbook, you give them the playbook or the lookbook. Then you want to build on some of that trust and goodwill you've had with them in order for them to engage with you. Then you want to, over a period of time, build trust with the client through nurture. Nurture is not, hey, I got a new coupon. Hey, I got a new coupon. Hey, we're running the special. Those are sales emails, not nurture emails. Nurture communications is giving value, information, and showing that you care about your customer, right? So for me, in my 2-year-long nurture campaign, I have weekly emails are talking about, hey, here's some steps on how to work on your website better. Hey, have you looked at this with your call to action? Hey, have you thought about this with your sales funnels? Have you tried this with your content? It's practical things that my audience of business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs can use today. That's what your nurture needs to be built around. And over time, if they're not ready to work with you immediately when they jump into your funnel, over time, they're going to be like, oh yeah, better than Rich. Oh yeah, I remember Better Than Rich. Oh yeah, I saw a podcast. Oh yeah, I saw an email. So that way, when they have a problem that you solve and that you can now clearly articulate because your messaging is done, they think of you first.
And the use case here for the home service guy listening or girl, it's I really love like a do it yourself type of invitations. It's like, hey, you don't need the plumber to fix your toilet. Here's a PDF on how to fix your own toilet the next time it gets clogged. Or,
Right.
you know, you don't this is the do it yourself to like for a landscape lighting company. One of the things that you could do is throw shade at having low quality workers come in, like the filtration guy or the landscaper coming in to do high end lighting. The difference between an expert versus a do it yourself, but at least give them a chance. Like, hey, this is how you do it yourself if you want. The cost of the materials. This is the materials you want. This is the labor. Hanging up holiday lights as an example. Here's the best ways to do it. You know, and here's all the risks of doing it yourself. So like there is some methodology, and you can get really nuanced and specific with what goes into those nurture emails that can drive someone into an action, which is something that why you might want counsel like John to come in and give you some guidance on how do you want those emails structured. But John, do you want to speak to that at all, or anything you want to say there?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. You want to, especially, yeah, I really like what you just said about home services and DIYers. I mean, there's dark side of DIYers where they think they can do everything themselves and they get hurt, and we don't want them to do that. But the majority of people, they can swap out one of those flaps in the toilet. The majority of people can change a light bulb. The majority of people can figure out how to put in a new door handle, right? They can do those things. Now, what you can do outside of just having a guide for them, what would be the next level would be you make videos. You create YouTube videos teaching, like just walking through the process, and you're not selling, you're just purely providing information. You put that into your nurture sequence, then you're going to have AI liking you more. You're going to have content. You're going to be building out an audience. You really just want to tie this entire, and when I talk about your marketing machine, right? Your entire marketing infrastructure together.
It's good. It's good because what happens is it builds trust. It's like, here, you could do it yourself. I love what Phil Risher said on the podcast. I've repeated a few times. He's like, here's the recipe. Go cook it yourself. But if you want to hire me, I'll cook it for you. Right. Just because I give you all the ingredients, and I don't want to change them too much, but I love this skit from Dave Chappelle. And he did a skit of like leaving his wife all of like everything that he has built. So if he ever dies, she can just take all this wealth. And he said, here's the key to unlock it. And he gives her the key, and she goes to the Dropbox and she opens it up and she's real sad. And he looks at it, it's like, what's wrong? She's like, all I saw in there was no money. It was just a book. He's like, yeah, all my jokes are in there. All you gotta do is read that, and it's funny, and you'll make millions and millions of dollars, right? So it's such a funny skit. But the whole concept is just because you have the recipe does not mean you're going to be a really good cook. Just like because you have Dave Chappelle's book of jokes does not mean you're going to make,
Right.
millions and millions of dollars being a stand-up comedian. There's an art behind it. And that's what oftentimes homeowners want to pay. They're willing to pay for that, but you could earn their trust by saying, hey, this is how you could do it yourself. And that's a piece of the nurture from my interpretation. So again, anything else
100%.
that makes sense to click on there before we continue? This is great. Hopefully this is helpful, listener. If this is helpful, let us know. I know this is a different take on how we have been doing the podcast, but I really appreciate John really conducting this more like a workshop for you than just like a conversation like other podcasts, I guess we may have had in the past. So
Yeah, this is fun.
all right, well, let's just keep rolling. I mean, lead generators at work, we talked a little bit about some of these, and then
Yeah.
automations, if you want to hit on any of this.
I mean, it's all about automations. We don't have time to do everything manually. And that's one of the reasons you like Go High Level. I like Go High Level. You can build out these automations. You build it and then you're done. You don't have to think about it. And for me in the marketing space as a marketing service provider, that's a huge differentiator is, hey, I actually build the whole system for you and then you own it, and you own it forever. You have this piece of infrastructure forever, and you want to have that for your business, because not only does it help you with your marketing operations, if you ever want to exit your company, if you have an automated marketing system that's proven to work and you have the whole infrastructure, that actually increases the value of your business, because they're buying your business, your revenue. They're also buying your brand and your marketing and your systems.
And if you rely on human error, if just to deliver this manually through an email, I know, it might get a chuckle, but you had that person that said, I do every pen and paper and I don't have a CRM. I had one of those this week running a 7-figure. I have two, one that's a client, one that's not. Well, he's running a 7-figure electrical company, and then the other one who just hired us is a running like doing remodels. Both do not have a CRM. It's all in their head. So what's the challenge with this not having automations and just like, yeah, okay, I'll send you that. Just put in the request. They fill out a little form and yeah, I'll email you that thing, or, I'll deliver that to you later, or I'll get it over to you. Like what's the problem with that in the year 2025? What would you say, John?
The problem is we're too busy and we're human. I mean, I feel like that's most problems is we're too busy and we're too human when it comes to business. And that's actually when I mentioned AI at the beginning and how it helps and accelerates your engine. That's really AI building your automations is huge. And I think that's probably one of the biggest PowerPoints of using AI is to help with automations, because your salespeople get busy. They talk to 5, 10, 20 people a day. If they're doing everything manually, or you think they're going to do it all? No, they're not going to. They're not going to do it all. They're not. We're human. We're flawed. We're busy. We're tired. Build the automations. Why have a flawed system when you can have a flawless process? It makes no sense.
It's great. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Scroll back up for me. Okay. So in my updated playbook, I think you have the old one. So in the updated one, so anyone who goes to the website today, greenlitgrowth.com, the one you will get, I actually have a ChatGPT prompt in there. So
yeah, I did notice it was by the way, I did notice like in the email, I clicked here and it was like sorry request. It doesn't exist. So the new one that you have is a different link.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why I didn't have it.
Okay, well, I'll fix that as soon as we hop off here. So
yeah, that's okay.
But there's
the way I avoided that, because I update my documents, is to put them in a folder. So instead of linking in the email itself, like in this email, like this click here for the CRM, I put a folder link. So anytime I update a document, it's taking them to a folder instead of the actual link itself, instead of the PDF itself. So that way I could,
good idea.
Yeah, just a little hack, because because now this one, all the past people like me who opted in for the old one, it's a broken link.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do
just
that.
a thought.
So in that, I'm gonna put it in the chat real quick for everybody. In the updated one, there is a new prompt. So you can take this prompt, just paste it into ChatGPT. I'm working in blank industry. I need to create my core marketing systems and funnels. I need a lead generator, the content for a landing page, and follow-up emails. Give me an outline and an effective system I have outlined for my industry. So it can give you kind of a high level, like, okay, you want to have, here's a lead generator idea. Here's some content to help push people to the lead generator. Here's some copywriting for your landing page. Here's some follow-up emails, and it'll actually write out a whole little marketing system idea for you that you can start playing with.
So I'm working in blank industry. I need to create my core marketing systems and funnels. I need a lead generator, the content landing page. Give me an outline of an effective system that I have outlined for my industry, right?
Yep.
And for anybody that didn't go to Jeff Woods was on our podcast. His episode was on the AI driven leader. I love the framework of CRIT. John, have you heard of this one before?
Yep.
So I love CRIT, which is the context, the role, interview, and then the task. So if you wanted to also take, in addition to John's prompt that he just gave you, and put it through a context, role, interview, task, meaning this prompt might go like, this is the context in here, like I'm working in blank industry, and then this part right here is the task. But then if we added the role, so pretend to be an expert marketer, and then interview me one question at a time to pull out of me any additional information that you need before you can give me output, to make sure it's quality output that's on brand or something like that, right? So just a small little, like, going back to Jeff Woods' AI episode, he just crushed it.
Yeah, that's a great addition there. I think it's good to have a framework like the CRIT framework to help you. However, I also find most people, especially in trades, how do I say this? Most people in trades are struggling to understand AI in the first place. So I like that CRIT though. I think that's a good point. So moving on to the next section, which is building your strategy. So once you have your messaging clear, your homepage is optimized, you have all your systems and everything built out, now you have a strategy, right? We have the pieces, we have the outline of this car. What do we do? How do we get to where we want to go? So for me, I have developed my own marketing strategy framework, which is the growth framework. It is a 6-step process to help you develop a marketing strategy. So the growth marketing strategy framework is 6 steps: goals, revenue, opportunities, what assets, timeline, and hurdles. So at a high level, you always start with goals. Anytime you create a marketing strategy, what are we going to do for the next 30, 60, 90 days for the next year? Start with goals. What is your desired outcome? Where do you want to go? You need to set clear, measurable goals for your next 90 days so your entire marketing system works towards that same target. And I say clear and measurable on purpose. A lot of agencies, marketing agencies will sell, oh, we're going to get you 10,000 impressions. Oh, we're going to get you, we're going to get you 10,000 followers on Instagram. Like, okay, how do you measure that success? How do you measure that that is tied into your bottom line? Because if marketing is supposed to help you grow your business, help you make more sales, how is having followers and impressions going to convert into sales? So you need to have clear, measurable goals for your next 90 days. You need to look at your revenue. There's kind of been this notorious rivalry between marketing and sales. And so the idea of this revenue piece is to really marry marketing and sales to have the same direction in mind. Start with your numbers. What product or service has the best margins with the shortest sales cycle? Focus on that. I was talking with a financial service provider. We're actually building out his marketing machine for him. And we had this conversation. I'm like, okay, what is the shortest sales cycle for you with the highest profit margin? What product or service, can you sell like hotcakes that makes you a lot of money? We're not talking about loss leaders or any of those strategies. We want to help you make money. That's the purpose of marketing. And so he's like, for me, it's annuities. I'm like, all right, cool. Annuities. Let's do that. And so we've been pushing him as the annuities guy, and he's already approaching 6 figures in new business just from selling annuities like crazy, because it's a shorter sales cycle with a high profit margin. So you look at your goals, you look at what product or service are we pushing, because we need to have our revenue tied in, and then you get sales on board. Like, yeah, we're going to sell the snot out of some pool maintenance packages. Like, that's what we're going to go do. Cool. Marketing and sales on the same page. Then you need to look at your opportunities. What's working? Where's untapped potential? How can you amplify your message, optimize your operation, and differentiate from the competition? So to say it another way, there are 3 types of opportunities every business has: amplification, optimization, differentiation. Amplification is how can we get in front of as many of our ideal customers at once? Maybe that's joining a referral group. Maybe that's advertising. Advertising does fit in here sometimes. Maybe that's social media. Maybe that's going to a conference. How can you amplify your brand presence and get in front of your ideal customers, as many of them from one point? Then you need to look at optimization. And we kind of did a lot of optimizing, building out your messaging and your website and your systems. You can always do better. We can always shorten the sales cycle. A big part of AEO right now is self-service tools on websites. I'm a really big fan of Marcus Sheridan with the They Ask You Answer model and his new book, Endless Customers. Having self-service tools optimizes your sales process, because people can now kind of get an understanding, like, okay, if I get this type of shingle versus metal roofing versus whatever, how's that going to affect me on price? How can I do this? They don't have to ask your sales team a million questions. They already know. So you want to look at how you can optimize your operation and then differentiate yourself from your competition. One of my marketing mentors from a distance is Mike Michalowicz. He wrote a great book called Get Different: Marketing That Can't Be Ignored. And in that book, he has this really great analogy, which I've stolen. I still give him credit, but I love it. Most brands look exactly the same as all the other brands in their market. There's no reason to look different. They have some generic logo. They're Duda and Sons Lawnscape. There's Cooper Builders. There's whatever it is. You look so generic. You look like all your competition. How can you be different? How can you stand out? And that can be from, like, your messaging is a great way to do that. Your branding, your naming, how you, like, I was talking to an HVAC guy, met him recently. He drives a bright pink van. He's standing out. He's being different. So how can you differentiate yourself from your competition? How are you going to be a purple, pink, polka dotted suit in a sea of gray suits? Then you look at what assets you have, what assets you need, and what assets you can optimize. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then you need to organize By the time you've gone through this process, now you have an organized to-do list of, I got to do all these things. I got to work on a website. I got to do this. I got to make content. I got to do that. Organize it into 90 days. Don't go more than 90 days. Organize it into logical, chronological milestones and break it into 3 phases. Phase 1, we got to, like we just went through kind of a piece of that. Phase 1, we got to clarify our message. Phase 2, we got to optimize our website. Phase 3, we got to build out our funnels, right? And then you're going to have a to-do list built in there. That's where you start getting, here's my marketing strategy. We're going to do this, 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 this. Just organize your to-do list into logical, chronological milestones and break it into 3 phases. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Then you got to anticipate hurdles. What's going to get in your way? If it can go wrong, it will go wrong, right? So we anticipate if you roll out a new rebrand for this adored restaurant that's been around forever and going to get rid of the old man in the barrel on it, and how are you going to anticipate? If people hate this, how are we going to react? You need to proactively look at, we're going to mess up. Things are going to get in the way. What can go wrong? So we need to prepare for if it goes wrong, how are we going to pivot and overcome? So then that's the growth framework at a high level. Through here, there's a 6-step process. Again, it's identify your 90-day goals, calculate your revenue, audit your current efforts, list your current and needed assets, map your sprint, identify your hurdles.
And
Marketing
what's
strategy does not have to be complicated.
And what's nice is you're given a free coaching call, right? So if somebody's listening here, right here in the PDF, boom, I could click here and get on John's calendar. And if I'm not mistaken, you're going to walk through anybody who's listening and do this with them. Is that right?
Yep. So on a coaching call, we'll walk through, okay, where's your marketing at now? Where do we need to go? What are the holes in that? And I'll give you a couple action items from there for you to do yourself. And then I'll give you some other solutions if it fits.
Wow. The listener, you got to take John up on that. That's awesome. I know we're coming up towards the exits. Take us home, strong finish with step 5. And then obviously we'll make sure listeners have this resource again and try to book that coaching call with you. But go ahead and take us home. Step 5, create your content.
Step 5 is create your content. So a lot of businesses are going to do ads and social media first. You need to do ads and social media last. Everything else needs to, your infrastructure, your framework, your car, vehicle needs to be built out before you start doing that. Content is one of the 4 tires of your marketing machine. You need to, that means it is one of the last pieces you build onto your entire operation. In this day and age with AI, you need to create content that is educational, that is honest, that is transparent. I really like the they ask you answer approach. They have 5, they call them I think it's the 5, impact 5 or selling 5. And these are the 5 topics you could talk about and create content around in your business. Cost and pricing, problems and challenges, comparisons and alternatives, best of lists and recommendations, especially for like HVAC, like, hey, we recommend this over this, whatever it might be.
That list is not on this document, is it?
It should be on your document.
Oh, let me find, where's that? That's a good list. Oh, right here. Yeah. Okay. Right. These, yeah, bro. Ooh, these are good. These are great. Go ahead. Keep rolling. I scrolled past it.
Yeah. And then reviews and case studies. So just think about what are customers' questions that they're asking about you and your industry and in your sales process. It's going to be around one of these 5 topics. Just answer their questions with an article and with a video. And that's all you really have to do. You don't need to be doing all these TikTok trends and all that nonsense. Don't do that. Create effective content that answers your customers' questions, because when they go to your website, they go through your call to action, they get your lead generator, they end up in your sales funnel, and they end up being a client. All right. I tried to sum that up real quick.
That's great. And then these are a couple of different types of content that they could choose: email newsletters, blog, long form, short form, make it work inside. And then we got this final wrap up. I mean, ultimately, this workshop was super great. I'm really appreciative of you, John, just kind of breaking it down. I know we kind of like went through the end a little quicker than we might have wanted to, but I'm digging it, man. I love it. Is there anything you want to echo or share, or anything we did not hit on that you want to bring up before I ask you a final question that we ask every guest?
No, I mean, this process has worked for businesses starting from 0 and up to $150 million of the types of businesses I've worked with. So if it works for them, it will work for you. Go grab the playbook, greenlitgrowth.com. It's free. I'll fix that link problem as soon as we hop off here. And I mean, just use it.
Great. We ask every guest same question. What does it mean to you to be better than rich?
To me, to be better than rich is to be loved by my family. For me, everything I do is built around providing for them, spending time with them, and investing my life in my kids. So, I mean, to be better than rich is to be loved by them.
It's beautiful. What's the ages of your kids?
I have a newborn soon, coming in like really soon. And then I have an almost 3-year-old.
Wow. Very cool. Well, congrats on the almost newborn.
Thank you.
Yeah. John, where do you want people to go? Greenlitgrowth.com? Is that the best place to go?
Greenlitgrowth.com, best place to find me. You can find anything else you need from there. I got tons of lead generators you can find on there. I got articles. You can find my LinkedIn, Facebook, everything's on there. I did recently start TikTok because it fits my strategy right now. So you can find me everything on greenlitgrowth.com.
Cool. Well, listener, take him up on it. I would also encourage you to book that coaching call. I mean, shoot, 45 minutes to kind of have the accountability go through the playbook. I think it's totally worth your time to do that and see what John offers. I mean, we highly recommend getting your either the marketing team you've already hired, making sure they're doing the things the right way, or if you're doing it yourself, just make sure you're equipped to do things the right way. And if it makes sense, maybe John has an offer that aligns up with some of the things that you need to. So take him up on it. He knows the stuff. And as always, we really appreciate you supporting season 4, listener, because the home services, the trades, they need a little bit of guidance on a lot of this the expert guidance and the secrets and the ins and outs. And that's why we're doing season 4. So a lot of really excellent guests coming up and a bunch that we've already had on the show. So keep listening, stay tuned. If you want to join us live, we do have the Zoom chat open for the live recordings. You can go ahead and you can send me an email, mike@betterthanrich.com. If you're not subscribed to the ad event where you could just learn about all the upcoming events and whatnot. But anyway, I digress. Thank you so much, John. Thank you, listener. And as always, on the Better Than Rich show, leave today better than you found it. Till next time. Cheers.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram @betterthan_rich and join our Facebook group @The Better Than Rich Show. Thanks again for listening. We look forward to seeing you next time. And remember, leave today better than you found it.